My husband's promotion seemed too good to be true. Then one night, I found a text from his boss, "Meet me in my hotel room, usual time." My blood ran cold. I followed him the next night, recording everything. When he walked out of her room, I greeted him with a smile. He froze, and his boss turned pale. I whispered, "Smile, you're on camera." The next morning, his company received a very interesting email. "I'm a 42-year-old woman living in Columbus, Ohio. I've been married to my husband, Mark, for 18 years. We have 2 kids, 14 and 11. I work as a nurse, and Mark works in IT. Until recently, things were normal. Not perfect, but we had our routines, our quiet life. 6 months ago, Mark came home with big news: he'd gotten a promotion. Senior Systems Manager. He'd be reporting directly to the VP of Operations, Rachel. I'd heard her name before, but I didn't know much about her. I only met her once at a company picnic. She was polite, but cold. She's probably in her early 50s, very put together, always in heels. She gave off that intimidating kind of energy. The kind that makes you sit straighter without realizing it. Mark was excited about the job. I was happy for him. It came with a good raise, better health insurance, and more career growth opportunities, whatever that meant. He started staying late at work, working weekends, attending strategy dinners. At first, I chalked it up to the new role. But things slowly started to feel off. He became glued to his phone. I'm not exaggerating, he took it everywhere. Bathroom, garage, even the laundry room. If I even looked in its direction, he'd tense up. He changed his passcode, saying it was for company security. I didn't want to seem paranoid. But when you've lived with someone for 18 years, you notice the small shifts. His texts became shorter. He barely made eye contact when he talked. When I brought up date night, he'd always say he was too tired. When I brought up the kids' school play, he forgot about it twice. He was disappearing from the life we built. Then, one night changed everything. It was a Tuesday night. He said he had a late meeting downtown. He took a quick shower, dressed in a crisp button-down and cologne I hadn't seen in months. He even combed his hair, something he usually only did for weddings or job interviews. I was folding laundry when he left his phone on the counter. It buzzed. I looked. One message. No preview, just the name, Rachel. Something in my gut twisted. I picked up the phone. The screen was still unlocked. The message said, "Meet me in my hotel room. Usual time." I stood there staring at it. I felt the ground shift under me. There was a long message history. I scrolled quickly, heart pounding. Flirty texts, inside jokes, her saying, "You make me forget he exists." Him replying, "You know, I'd rather be with you than anywhere else." My hands went numb. I emailed myself the entire conversation thread. Screenshotted every message. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I went into nurse mode. Calm. Cold. Focused. I needed proof. Real proof. I called my best friend Lisa. She used to do private investigation work before switching to HR. She told me to breathe, then helped me make a plan. The next time he said he had a work meeting, I would follow him. 2 days later, that chance came. He said Rachel asked him to sit in on a dinner with some clients at the Hilton downtown. It started at 8. He left at 7:15. I waited 10 minutes, then left too. I had Lisa with me. She had her camera ready. We parked across the street from the Hilton. Watched him go in. No laptop, no files, just his phone and wallet. 40 minutes passed. Then, Rachel walked in. Not in a business suit, she was in a black dress, red lipstick, and heels. No purse. Just a keycard in hand. She didn't go to the bar. Didn't ask for a table. She went straight to the elevators. I felt my hands clench. 10 minutes later, we followed. Lisa stayed in the hallway while I acted like I was looking for someone. We waited outside the room she went into. I heard laughter. I hit record on Lisa's camera. I said nothing. Just looked at the door. Waited. An hour passed. Then the door opened. Mark walked out first. He looked relaxed, smiling. His shirt was unbuttoned at the top. Rachel came behind him, laughing. She reached for his arm. I stepped into the hallway. "Hey, babe," I said, smiling. He froze. Rachel saw me, her face drained of color. I lifted my phone and camera toward them. "Smile," I whispered, "you're on camera." Mark's face crumpled. Rachel looked like she was about to be sick. Neither said a word. I walked past them without another glance. I didn't go home that night. I stayed at Lisa's. I didn't answer his calls. I didn't open his texts. The next morning, I got up early, wrote a clean, professional email to his company's HR department, and attached the evidence. It's not just about the cheating. It's about the lies. The cover-up. The fact that this was happening on company time, in company-paid hotel rooms, while I was picking up his slack at home and raising our kids. I haven't told the kids yet. I haven't decided what comes next. But I know this, he underestimated me. So did she. So. I'm back. I wasn't planning to update so soon, but a few things have happened that I honestly never saw coming. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it all. After I sent that email to HR, I expected silence or maybe some canned response. But nope. Less than 2 hours later, I got a call from an unknown number. It was someone from Mark's company. Not HR. Legal. Let's call him Mr. Bell. He asked if I could speak privately. I stepped outside Lisa's house, my heart in my throat. He started by thanking me for the thorough documentation and told me that Rachel had already been under internal observation for a few months. Something about financial inconsistencies and complaints from other employees. My evidence? It just blew everything wide open. Apparently, this wasn't just an affair. This was something else. Something a lot messier. He asked if I'd be willing to give a formal statement. I agreed. I was done protecting anyone. When I finally went home to grab a few things, Mark was waiting on the porch. He looked like he hadn't slept. His eyes were red. His voice was cracked. He didn't yell. He didn't beg. He just kept saying, "You don't understand." I told him I understood perfectly. "You cheated." Repeatedly. Lied to my face. That's all I need to understand. But then he dropped something that stopped me cold. "She threatened me," he said. I laughed. "Seriously? That's your excuse?" "I'm not kidding," he said. "It wasn't like it started off that way. It was flirty, and yeah, I crossed the line. But after the first time, she started saying things. About my job. About promotions. About how she could ruin me if I didn't keep seeing her." I stared at him. Silent. He looked terrified. Not guilty. Genuinely scared. "She has things on a lot of people, not just me," he said. "And she knows how to use them." Was he telling the truth? I didn't know. But something about his voice, his whole posture, felt off. Like he wasn't trying to save the marriage. He was trying to survive something. I was about to leave when Lisa called. Her voice was tight. "Do you know anyone named Jonah?" she asked. I did. He was Mark's old coworker. Left the company 2 years ago without warning. Rumors were that he had some kind of breakdown and moved to Arizona. "He just emailed me," she said. "Said he heard about what happened. Wants to meet. Says Rachel did the same thing to him." I agreed to meet Jonah with her at a diner the next day. He looked wrecked. Like he hadn't slept in weeks. Paranoid. Kept checking over his shoulder. He told us that Rachel had this pattern. Find someone lower on the ladder. Flatter them. Get close. Then use sex, secrets, and threats to control them. According to him, she used company trips to cover everything. Even had a system for covering up expenses. He said he tried to expose her once, but the person he reported to disappeared. Not literally, but suddenly transferred out of state. That's when he left. She's protected, he told us. From the top. That night, someone knocked on my door. It was a man in a dark gray suit. Clean cut. Professional. I'm here on behalf of, redacted company name, he said. We're conducting a deeper internal investigation. We may need to ask you a few more questions soon. Discreetly. He handed me a card. No name, just a number. Told me not to discuss the matter with anyone else for the time being. I asked what this was really about. His face didn't change. Let's just say, it's no longer just a matter of inappropriate conduct. And then he left. Yeah. You read that right. He didn't come home the next night. Or the next. His phone went straight to voicemail. I called his brother. His mom. No one's heard from him. I finally filed a missing persons report. Then I got a text. No name. Just this, he's safer away from it. Don't dig too deep. I don't know what I've gotten myself into. But I'm not stopping. Not until I find out the truth. This isn't just about cheating anymore. This is something else. So, things have escalated. I honestly don't even know where to start this time. It's like I peeled back one layer, thinking I'd find dirt. But what I found instead was a pit. Deep, dark, and bottomless. This isn't just about my marriage anymore. This isn't even just about Rachel and her disgusting power games. There's more. A lot more. 3 days after Mark vanished, I got an email from an address I didn't recognize. No subject. Just a short message, your husband was going to blow the whistle. He got scared. So should you. There was an attachment. I shouldn't have opened it, but I did. It was a recording. A phone call. It took me a few seconds to realize it was Mark's voice. He was talking to someone, maybe legal? HR, I couldn't tell. He was saying things like, she has offshore accounts. I've seen the transfers. There's someone on the board protecting her. I don't want to be part of it anymore. The call ends with a sharp click. No response. Just silence. I don't know how someone got a hold of that. I don't know who sent it to me. But now I knew for sure, this went beyond just two people sneaking around. Mark had gotten involved in something he couldn't control. And now he was gone. Nothing was stolen. Not the cash in the glove box. Not my phone charger. Not even my bag in the back seat. But my files? The printed screenshots of Mark and Rachel's texts? Gone. The USB drive Lisa gave me with the hotel footage? Gone. It was too specific to be random. Someone had come looking for the evidence, and they took it all. I still had the originals on a hidden backup drive, but the message was loud and clear, they're watching me. I reported it to the police, but the officer seemed uninterested. He said it looked like standard theft. I could see it in his eyes. He didn't believe me. Or maybe he didn't want to. Lisa didn't back down. She's the only reason I haven't completely lost it. She started looking deeper into Rachel's corporate connections. Turns out, Rachel sits on the advisory board of a private firm that mysteriously secured several government tech contracts over the last few years. Very lucrative ones. Guess who helped coordinate some of the systems for those contracts? Yup. Mark. And guess what? One of the projects was flagged last year for security vulnerabilities. quietly swept under the rug. Lisa found a former employee. Let's call him Dan, who agreed to speak anonymously. He told us the systems weren't just flawed, they were designed to leak data. Data that could be sold. And now I'm staring at this tangled web of corruption, corporate abuse, and my husband, my cheating, lying husband, might have been both a pawn and a player. 2 nights ago, I got a text from another unknown number. No words. Just a picture. It was Mark. Alive. He was sitting in a dark room. His hands weren't tied, but his expression was empty. His eyes looked like they hadn't seen sunlight in days. He was holding a newspaper with yesterday's date. Whoever sent it didn't say anything else. I tried replying, but the number was already disconnected. He's alive. That much I know now. But where is he? Why is he being held? Is he being protected, or silenced? You won't find it in the news. But I got a tip from Lisa, who still has contacts in the company. Rachel officially resigned 2 days ago. No party. No goodbye email. Just gone. And here's the kicker, they wiped her entire work profile off the company's internal systems. Like she never worked there at all. The company released a generic statement, "We thank Rachel for her service and wish her well in future endeavors." No mention of the scandal. No mention of the affair. No mention of anything. Just, poof. Gone. I know what I saw. There was a black car parked across the street last night. Engine off. Lights off. Just sitting there. I stepped outside and it drove off, slow and silent. Same car showed up again this morning. Different driver. I've started sleeping with the lights on. I've installed security cameras around the house. Lisa helped me set up a deadman switch with all the files we have left. If something happens to me, it all gets released, to the media, to the police, to the internet. I want to find Mark, not to fix things, but because he might be the only one who can explain just how deep this thing goes. I want to expose every piece of this corrupt system, but I'm just one person. A nurse. A mom. Not a hacker. Not a lawyer. But I'm not backing down. Whoever they are, they messed with the wrong woman. I'll keep posting updates. If anything happens to me, someone will know. This story isn't over yet. Not even close. This will probably be my last update. So much has happened since my last post, and I've been trying to hold it all together, for my kids, for myself, but the truth is, everything finally came crashing down. Here's what went down. It started with another tip, this time from someone inside the company, anonymous, but the message was clear: there's a board meeting scheduled for next Friday. Mark is going to be brought up. You'll want to be there. I didn't know what to expect. I told Lisa. She agreed we should go. Lisa worked her connections to get us into the building. We weren't going in blind, we had everything loaded on a secure drive. Messages, voice recordings, footage, timelines. I wasn't there to argue or scream. I just wanted the truth in the open. What I didn't expect. Mark was there. He looked thinner. Pale. Like he hadn't eaten a full meal in weeks. He was seated at the end of the conference table with 2 company lawyers beside him. When he saw me walk in, his face went stiff. For a second, I thought he was going to cry. The boardroom was quiet. Just the hum of the AC and paper shuffling. Then Rachel walked in. She looked different, tired, but still in control. Still in heels. Still that icy stare. But her eyes flickered when she saw me. I saw fear. For the first time, she didn't own the room. The meeting started, and the chairman addressed certain internal concerns regarding employee conduct and data misuse. They gave Rachel a chance to speak. She did. She tried to spin it. Said Mark had misinterpreted their professional relationship. Said the personal messages were jokes. That the hotel meetings were briefings. But then Mark stood up. His voice shook at first, but then it grew steadier. I was involved, he said. Not just with her. With everything. I signed off on the flawed security systems. I approved fake invoices. I turned a blind eye to the bribes. I did all of it because I was scared. Because Rachel had something on everyone, and I didn't want to lose my job, my family. He looked right at me. And then I lost it anyway. The room fell silent. Then I played the recording Lisa and I brought. The one from the hotel hallway. Then the texts. Then the email trail. There was no denying it anymore. Rachel stood there, silent. Her mask dropped. She knew it was over. Rachel didn't even wait for the board to decide. She walked out. One of the board members followed, yelling her name. She didn't turn around. Mark stayed. After everyone left, he asked if we could talk. Just the two of us. I agreed. We sat in an empty break room, just us and 2 cups of lukewarm coffee. He apologized. Really apologized. I was weak, he said. I let her pull me in, and when I realized how deep it went, I didn't know how to get out. He admitted everything. How the affair started. How Rachel used people like pawns. How the money started flowing under the table. And how every time he thought of stopping, she'd remind him of what she had on him. What she could do to me. To the kids. He looked at me with tears in his eyes. I never stopped loving you. I just stopped protecting what we had. And for the first time in months, I felt the weight of it all crash down on me. Not anger. Not even hatred. Just sadness. So much had been lost. I told the kids a version of the truth. That dad made some bad choices and that mom and dad needed time apart. They cried. I cried. But I kept it simple. My mom said, I always knew something was off about that woman. My dad just gave me a hug that lasted longer than usual. Friends were divided, some wanted me to destroy Mark. Others said maybe he deserved a second chance. But I knew what I had to do. I filed for legal separation. We're not officially divorced, yet. But we need space. I need space. Mark is cooperating with the investigation. The company offered him limited immunity in exchange for testimony. Rachel? She vanished. Word is she's under federal investigation, but no one knows where she is. I moved back into the house with the kids. Lisa checks in daily. I see a therapist every week. I'm rebuilding, slowly. People always say betrayal feels like being stabbed in the back. But for me? It felt like drowning. Silent. Slow. And when I finally broke the surface, gasping for air, I didn't even know which way was up anymore. But I'm breathing now. I don't know what the future looks like. Maybe Mark and I try again someday. Maybe we don't. But I know this. I'm not the same woman who found that text months ago. I'm stronger. Wiser. A little more tired, sure. But a lot more aware of my own worth. So if you're reading this, wondering if your gut is right, listen to it. Don't let anyone make you feel crazy for asking questions. And never underestimate how far someone will go to protect a lie. But also, never underestimate how far you can go to uncover the truth.